That was so beautiful, I almost don't want to start talking, but I think I will. So good morning, Payson. So good to see those of you who are here in person and to feel the energy in the room. And for those of you who are joining us online, I think we're feeling your energy too. So as we gather and begin our time together, would you join me in an opening prayer? God of all goodness. Part of that goodness is the fact that in our very creation, divinity is imparted to us. We don't have to look outside of ourselves for it, but know that it is within us, and we look within for the wisdom, for the love, for the understanding that is divine. So this morning as we gather, we think of compassion, and not just compassion for someone far away or even our neighbor, but compassion for ourselves, which gives birth to an authentic compassion that changes the world. We're grateful for the opportunity to consider this, grateful for the opportunity to be together and to demonstrate this. We are so grateful, and so it is. So as we open the service, we have an opening song. If you're here with us in person, we'll invite you to stand if you're able. And I Am the Place Where God Shows Up is our opening song as we begin.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. I am the place where God lives. You are the place. Moves and breathes and has we are the place. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place.
Please be seated. And I'm going to say welcome again. So, welcome to Unity of Payson. My name is Donna. I'm your platform hostess this morning. We're glad you're with us. And if you're with us virtually today, you may enter where you're joining in from in the chat. And we want to recognize anyone who's new to Unity of Payson. I do not see anybody new. Hi, Connor again. So if you're here for the first or second time, either in person or virtually, please raise your hand so we may recognize you. Okay. Okay, I see Marianne, I see Kay Butler, I see Frosty and Teresa. Hi. So let's see. Please stay after the service. We have a joint potluck with United Methodist Church, and this will be Reverend Michael's last time to be here. He's retiring. So we want to congratulate him and thank him for allowing us to share the space all this time and wish him the best. Let's see what else. Reverend Neal invites you to stay after the service online so he can greet you. And if you want to be informed of our weekly activities, please provide your email to us so we can send you the Monday e-newsletter, which is full of fun stuff. And let's do our welcome prayer. We, from our Unity of Payson family, we say together, we love you, we bless you, and we welcome you. And we have time for gratitudes. We're grateful for those who support Unity of Payson with your time, treasure, and talent. And we're grateful for the events that we continue to have. And we hold a lot of groups and meetings on Zoom still. And we're grateful for the technology that allows us to do that. And the announcements at the end of the service, I'll be announcing a couple of more meetings we'll be having. And they will be either on Zoom or hybrid in person and on Zoom. So let's see, if you have a gratitude to share, you can raise your hand. And if you're online, you can unmute to share. Anybody have a gratitude? We have one in person and we have Sue. Don't forget to hold that right up to your mouth there.
Oh, dope. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. So I have a couple. First off, we took our van out on our first little camping trip, and it was absolutely spectacular. So we're doing that more often. But other than that, though, I'm heading down this afternoon to my daughter's house in Mesa because she's going to be having her baby any day now. So
Yay.
prayers for that.
Congratulations.
Well, I want to say thank you to Neil and to all the other good folks, Kay and Charlotte and others who participate in Saturday, 4 p.m. Soul Boost. Highly recommend it. Kind of get ready for today. So I'm thankful and grateful I could be there.
Ditto.
June.
Some of you know Marion. She used to be coming frequently. She is quite ill, and she can no longer take care of her two little dogs. So Kay and I have rescued them. They're 10-year-olds, just adorable, and we're having so much fun. We have sleepless night. They have to go out every 2 hours. But we're grateful we could take them. There was no place for them to go, and they need a lot of love and care.
Thank you, June. Teresa says, I'm grateful for friends. Yay. All right. And so we're going to move on now to unity is grounded in meditation and affirmative prayer. And we have trained prayer chaplains to support you. Our chaplains are available to pray with you. And you may email a request if you're online or watching this later as a recording. The email address is on the screen, neil.unityofpayson@gmail.com. Or we have a prayer box on the greeter table in the back where Charlotte is, and you may place your prayer request in that prayer box. And our prayer team in Silent Unity will pray with you for 60 days total, 2 months. All prayer requests are held sacred and confidential. And if you'd like to be contacted, please leave your contact information with your request. I'm a prayer chaplain and Sue is a prayer chaplain. and Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie is here. And if you would like prayer support after the service, please tap one of us on the shoulder. And we will find a place that's quiet and confidential and pray with you. Unity of Patience theme for June is compassion. Let us say the affirmation together. Divine compassion flows to and through me, and the world is lifted up. Wow. Today's speaker is Rev Neal Worthington, and the title of his talk is You Are Your Best Friend. So if you're not right now, you will be by the time you leave here today. And for our metaphysical moment, I'm going to read from the Daily Word, Sunday, June 2nd, Optimism. Optimism colors my world with love. My experience of the world depends on the attitude I bring to it. When I hold positive thoughts and share the love in my heart, the world becomes an inviting, friendly place. Optimism makes me a magnet for positive people, exciting opportunities, and serendipity of all kinds. It lifts my consciousness out of worry, anxiety, or fear, and keeps me focused on the beauty of the earth, the goodness of people, and the presence and power of God. When I perceive God in the kind acts, selfless impulse, and loving service happening all around me, my optimism grows. I feel renewed and inspired as I focus on what is right and good in my life. In gratitude for the world's wonders, I grow in optimism. Romans 12:21, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So it's funny, I was just thinking about that on my way here this morning. I was driving down Airport Road, and it is just such a beautiful drive. You can see the mountains, the blue in the distance, and the sky, and the trees are so green right now. And I was thinking to myself, why don't I focus on this? This is beautiful. And why don't I focus on what is good? Because there is a lot of good all the time. And when we look at it and focus on it, it helps us really move forward and helps others around us to move forward happily also. So now it is time. Oh, no, it's not. Unity, mission, and vision. It's, Neil reminded me, it's the first Sunday. So let's say the mission statement together. We are a welcoming and open-hearted community, inspiring each other to live in love, joy, and service. And our vision statement together. We enrich our world through spirit-centered service, positive human connections, and stewardship of all creation. And now our speaker, Rev Neal Worthington, will share his message with us. And I will take this out of the way.
When I grew up, it wasn't very common for somebody to use an abbreviation or an acronym to actually be the word that they used in conversation. Have you noticed that? With the advent of social media and texting, well, we just put in the abbreviation and that becomes our word or our expression. So there's one that's been around for maybe about 30 years, and somebody's going to, here's the first quiz. Somebody's going to tell me what this is. BFF. What's that? Best friend, yeah, almost everybody knows that. I like it. So, Best Friend Forever was first introduced at large by a television show in 1997. Anybody want to guess what television show that was? Hey, you got it. Absolutely, Friends. Of course, that kind of was a cue there. So in that last episode in the 1997 season, Phoebe, one of the characters, and I'm not a long-term fan, and so I don't know too much, but I know that Phoebe said something about BFF, and nobody knew what it was, and so she had to explain that. Best friend forever. And that word has come into our parlance, and you'll see it on text and in social media all the time. Reminds me of a scripture that comes from the Proverbs, the old proverb. There is a friend that sticks closer than a brother, or closer than a family member, or closer than a sister. Just real close. There is a friend that does that. Well, that's all in reference to our material world. We are in proximity to somebody else. We empathize with them. We console them. They do the same for us, and they are our best friends forever. But there's more to it than just that. There is, for us, every one of us, what I'm calling, I think I'm creating a term I don't know this morning, a soul self. A soul self. And that soul self is not material. It's not physical. That soul self is something that goes to the core of us, but we can't quite get a grasp on it because it isn't material. So we're going to talk about that today. And let me give you an idea of what I'm thinking of when I think of soul. Soul kind of sounds like a spiritual sort of thing, but it's not the same as spirit to me. Soul is that meld of spirit, that meld of divinity in me, and of my own unique identity. So that soul is special to me. And I have that, and it's powerful in my life. And we're going to discuss that today as we turn to our theme, which is compassion. That's our June theme. We've already spoken the affirmation, but what is compassion? And I like this a whole lot. Rick, thank you for your gratitude there about Saturday Soul Boost, because this definition came up in Saturday Soul Boost. Compassion is breaking open the heart. Breaking open the heart. And we're not, of course, talking about a physical heart. We're talking about that core of our being, that place where we feel, that place where we love, breaking open the heart. So that's what we're going to speak about, but we're going to speak about it not only as true compassion being a soul activity toward others, but today we're going to talk about that as our soul self's activity directed toward us. So let's jump on into it. I put together a key spiritual truth. Here we go. Befriended by my soul self, I am forever and completely loved. Befriended by my soul self, I am forever and completely loved. Now, when we look at this idea of loving ourselves or self-compassion, our focus today, we look at a kind of three things, and some of it came out of our Saturday Soul Boost too. I am forever, this is not gratitude time, but I'm forever grateful to those of you who participate both online, because we don't do it in person, but online on Saturday afternoon. Some of you here, some of you are with us here today virtually. And at that time, the inspiration and the insight that is popping up, but is kind of disorganized for me, begins to come together in the collective wisdom of those who share in that time. I share a few things, but I really depend on people who share there as well. So your gratitude, Rick, is mine as well, deeply. And I came out of that thinking there are three things that we need to consider when we talk about our soul self addressing us. Self-compassion, our soul self as is focused on ourselves or pointed to ourselves. Let me do a little aside for a moment. If you're like me, you grew up with the belief in original sin. Remember that? We were born sinners. Well, I'm delighted to let you know that I don't think that what Scripture really teaches, and it certainly is not what I believe, but rather that we are born with original virtue. We are creations of the divine, perfectly created, and we're born with that goodness. Born also with choice, and it doesn't always show up. But as we meld our divinity and our unique identity, we do that, and we are able then to live out that original virtue to a greater degree. But for all of us, we didn't really measure up to that completely. I'm guessing it's for all of us. It certainly was for me. Sometimes we regret what we've done in the past. But instead of regretting and woe is me and I'm an idiot. Ever say that to yourself? Well, yeah, we do that. Instead of that, we take that regret that we have there and we understand it. We understand that when we did whatever we did, we were trying to meet some need that we have, and we were just a little bit off the mark in trying to meet that need. So we call it a mistake, or we call it an error, perhaps a shortcoming or a misstep, because we're still that perfect creation, that creature that was put on this earth with an original virtue, the heritage that we have of the divine. So one who would take this position that yes, we've made missteps, yes, we've made error, must acknowledge, first of all, before we can get things straight, we must acknowledge where we're at. Not to beat ourselves up, but to say, okay, here's where I was at. I was maybe trying to meet some need over here that I had. I did it wrong. I misstepped. I went a little bit the wrong way. And we take responsibility for that, not by blaming ourselves, but by knowing, yes, this is where I'm at. Now, going forward, let's look at it a little bit differently. We don't react. We are responsive to that mistake or that error that we may have made. Part of this happens because we take part in self-examination. Do you do that from time to time? Do you examine your life and kind of know what it is you've done? Where you've done well, where you maybe didn't quite meet the mark. So goes all the way back to Socrates, who said the unexamined life isn't worth living. So we, as this very first start of self-compassion, acknowledge where we're at. Not out of blame, not worthy of punishment, but just saying, hey, this is where I've been. And then we have the opportunity to renew or to change or to think differently going ahead. But we don't want to stay there too long. You know that in Unity we often talk about denials and affirmations. And with denials, we may deny something the power that it may have over us, but we don't hang around with that denial too long. We don't work that over and over and over again in our mind. We move on to an affirmation of the positive of where we're going. And I love that word optimism in the daily word. So we pause to understand, and then we move on. But we acknowledge the very first part of self-compassion, where we're at. We are kind to ourselves in that acknowledgement, and we move forward. Then we go from there to that definition. And I'm going to have to give credit for the definition. Kay Butler is here with us online. Kay, I'm just talking to you. Kay's a writer. And she's working on a book that I happen to know. She's allowed me to read some of it. The Merlin Dialogues. It goes back to King Arthur. It's going to be an interesting book. When it comes out, you got to get it. It's a really neat book. But she said when we were asking the question in the Saturday Soul Boost, how do you define compassion? And she said, well, Merlin would say it's breaking open the heart. And this I shared with you earlier. Merlin would say it's breaking open the heart. And so that, I think, is the next part after acknowledgement. Then we break open our heart. It reminds me of many times in Christian scriptures and in stories of Jesus when Jesus was moved with compassion. His heart literally broke for the plight of someone else. But we're talking today about the breaking of our heart open and directing that love that ensues to ourselves. The scripture that says that most poignantly about that being moved with compassion is in Matthew. It says, when Jesus saw the crowds, he had compassion for them because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. I don't know about you, but often it comes up. I feel harassed by the circumstances of life, or someone that's particularly difficult for me to deal with. I feel helpless. I don't even know how to take care of it. But I don't break open my heart toward myself. I tend to get the cart before the horse. And when I'm thinking about compassion, I'm thinking immediately about how it happens out there, how I've got compassion. And we'll get there during this month. We'll get there aplenty. That the starting place is to have compassion for yourself. The Dalai Lama says it this way: if you don't love yourself, you cannot love others. If you don't love yourself, you cannot love others. But I would kind of translate it in the terms that we're using today. If you don't break open your heart to yourself, you will not authentically break it open to anybody else. Oh, you might do good stuff, quote unquote, but you will not truly be compassionate to your neighbor, to the world. Part of this breaking open the heart, just as we would with someone else, is truly listening to ourselves. Do you listen to yourself? Do you take time? Are you quiet? You just listen to yourself. Do you listen to your hurts? Do you listen to your puzzlement, your confusion? Marshall Rosenberg says, listening to what's going on in ourselves as with the same quality of presence and attention that we offer to others. So let's just take it and focus it on ourselves for a minute, not listening to somebody else, but listening to ourselves. Listening to our body, listening to our feelings, listening to that which we know is a need for us that has not, as of that moment, been fulfilled. If we break open our heart, there's a couple things that are going to happen. I won't be shooting on myself. You don't do that, do you? You don't say, I should have. Boy, if I really want to do it right, I should so-and-so. No, it's not should. It's knowing who we are, getting a sense of our soul self-identity, knowing we have foibles, knowing we haven't yet learned as much as we could have, knowing that there's so much more that's possible for us that we haven't yet achieved, but being compassionate about that. I am where I am. As well as you, I'm doing the very best that I can, given what I have to work with right now. Now let me respond to that and move forward. Then there's self-judgment. So easy to judge yourself and blame yourself, and even almost sometimes execute some sort of punishment on ourselves. So easy to do that. The one who breaks open their heart toward themselves will refrain from that self-judgment, because it's not going to get us where we want to go. It's not, if we have a desire to really change the world, we're not going to get there unless we can hold off on the judgment we have of ourselves and respond to the attention we give to ourselves. Let me say that key spiritual truth again. Befriended by my soul self, I am forever and completely loved. And kind of the third step in this for me is something we talk about usually first, but we may have missed the first couple steps, and that's self-forgiveness. We forgive each other when we connect with the need that we were trying to meet when we took the action that we took that we didn't like. So we are beginning to be able to be compassionate with ourselves, forgiving with ourselves about those things we're not crazy about in terms of what we've done. That will lead to things like mercy. Funny word. Mercy in general talks about somebody in power kind of letting somebody else get by and not punishing when they deserved it. But I think when we look at it as we apply mercy to ourselves, we look past whatever it is that we may have done imperfectly. And in the looking past, we clear the way going forward. It's kind of like a self-clearing process. And then there's tenderness. For us guys, it may be a little bit more difficult. Maybe not for some of us, but for many of us, just being tender with anybody is difficult, but being tender with ourselves is especially difficult. It's like our soul self, if we allow it, that tenderness to seep into our being, our soul self is acting like a mother figure. You know that quintessential mother that just always loves, shines on her children, looks past what they may have done. She may in fact correct them or put their attention on something that they need to work on. but that love, that compassion, that mother love is always there. Rick gave me a shirt. It's hanging in my closet. It says Golden Boy on it. The idea behind that shirt and the little emblem he put on there was that mother looks at that golden boy and always approves. Let your soul self look on you with approval. Always. There's an old hymn that I like. I usually take license with changing a few words here and there, but I think you'll remember it if you were somebody who did a lot of hymn singing in your past. You'll remember it. And the refrain goes like, oh, here, I'm going to sing again. Get ready. And she walks with me and she talks with me. I'm going to notice I said she. And she tells me I am her own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. In the verse, she speaks, and the sound of her voice is so sweet. The birds hush their singing, and the melody that she gave to me within my heart is ringing. She walks with me, she talks with me, she tells me I am her own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. We have within us that mother love, that soul self that is ready to impart that same compassion to us. We call it, when we look at the whole thing, self-compassion. Befriended by my soul self, I am forever and completely loved. So how do I do that? Sometimes I do a little handout or a PowerPoint slide, and it's going to be easy here. ABC. Acknowledge. What do I regret? How can I respond? But don't stop there. Keep moving. Break open your heart. That's the B. A was acknowledge. B, break open your heart. What am I feeling? What did I need when I acted back there? What do I need now? And then finally, C, clear yourself. Forgive yourself. Take that weight off your shoulders. It does you no good. And in fact, it'll keep you from moving forward. Acknowledge, break them in your heart. Clear yourself. That's how you participate in self-compassion. BFF, best friends forever, that's unique soul, that unique soul self that you are, is your best friend. And so it is.
Yes, we're getting ready for our meditation now, and we're going to have a song, Blessing to the World by Karen Drucker.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world.
Let's take time now to be quiet. To allow any extraneous thoughts to just drift to the side and to focus on this very moment. Let's connect ourselves with creation. Let's breathe. Just breathe in deeply, and then a long, slow out breath. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Feel the solidness of the chair beneath you. Feel your connection with the earth, with all of the immense goodness of creation, including yourself. So as we spend time in the quiet, take a little journey with me. And on that journey, you're wandering through a shaded pathway in a deep wood. The birds sing, the wind blows, the smell of spring flowers waft over the trail. And you are blessed. And you realize, not only am I here observing something else, I'm part of this. All that is beautiful, all that is good. I, too, am designed to be a perfect part of it. You notice as you wander down this trail. Kind of an opening through the trees to the left. And you look and you gaze, and as you do, you see a mirror. It almost seems like a mirror. You're looking back at yourself. And then your mind gets involved and you think about yourself in ways that aren't so complimentary, in ways that don't fit with the beauty of your oneness with all that is created. And you walk a little further and you look to your right, and there's another opening. And in that opening, you see yourself in all that is beautiful. Suddenly, the you that you see in that mirror is no longer the one you saw where you didn't do something or you did something that you shouldn't have, but it's aligned with that perfection of creation. And you see yourself in a new light. A child of the divine, a divine expression, perfect in every way, full of immense possibility. You look again to the left, and suddenly that old self, that old image, is fading. You look to the right, and fresh and new and lively is that image of you as created in your perfection. And soon as you walk down that path a little bit more, there is nothing but you who has seen your past, has moved away from it, has allowed the blessings of all of creation to seep into your soul. So you come to a place of rest. A bench is waiting you, and you sit in contemplation. And in gratitude for all that you are, a blessing not only to the world but to yourself, a blessing to yourself. Spend some time now in quiet, contemplating that beautiful you, a blessing to the world and to yourself. Hold that image. Tuck it inside your mind, ready for being reviewed at any time. And bring your awareness back to this present moment. Changed a little bit, or at least your understanding of yourself, your appreciation of yourself, your love and forgiveness of yourself. So as you bring your awareness back, open your eyes. Let your fingers and your toes feel movement. And be here, that beautiful you, that forgiven you, that nurtured you, that loved you here in this present, at this time, and this place. And so it is. Amen.
So now is the time to share our gifts and our offerings. Unity of Payson appreciates your gifts in support of this ministry. These gifts also go out to the larger community. As you listen to the offering song, you'll have time to make a contribution. Information for giving is also on the slides. Let's bring our attention to our gift at this time. Let's make it a gift of beauty. Beauty within, beauty without. And let's call to mind our heart's desires. And together let's affirm, freely we give and freely we receive. And the offertory song is I See Divinity in You.
I see divinity in you. I see the Christ coming through in all of my passion for life and for love, in all of the glory that you are made of, now and forever, on earth and above. I see divinity in you. I feel divinity in me. I feel the Christ coming through, exploring the vision that I've never known, inviting the presence. I am not alone, accepting the Spirit of Christ as my own. I feel divinity in me. I see the wonder we are, shining a light through the dark. We don't have tomorrow, but we have today. Let none of its treasure go slipping away. Here and hereafter, through love we can say, I see the wonder we are. I see the wonder we are.
Speaking of Jennifer, I'd like to
Oops, on the table. I'm just gonna eat and run. I'll be done in 5 minutes. You know me.
okay, so let's have mute on there, please. Okay, thank you. Unmuted me and you muted them. Thank you. I wanted to just send prayers for Jennifer and her husband Steve. Steve has been in the ICU, and Jennifer's been by his side down there in Phoenix, and he is getting better. He's getting better, and let's send out thoughts of life and love and zeal. Let's send him some zeal. and energy. Thank you for that. All right, so it's time for the dedication of our offering. We're grateful for these gifts and the abundance that they serve. We bless the gifts and we bless the givers. And before we do our dedication, I want to just chime. And together, divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We are abundantly prosperous, and we give thanks. Thank you. Next Sunday's speaker, Rev Neal. We're continuing with our theme for June of compassion. And we have an affirmation. Let love flow through you is the title of his talk. It wasn't on here, but it was on there. Let's say our affirmation again. Divine compassion flows to and through me, and the world is lifted up. I have a few announcements. Tuesday at 6 o'clock, June 4th, is A Course in Miracles on Zoom. And you're welcome to join, even if you haven't joined previously. And it meets on the first and the third Tuesdays of the month. Is it going to be at 4 o'clock?
It will be at 4 o'clock.
It will be at 4 o'clock this Tuesday, 4 o'clock our time. And I'm excited about that because we have something else to do in the evening. So yay for that. I'll tell you more about it later, maybe, but depending on how it turns out. Saturday, 9:30 in the morning, we have Morning Cafe. And that's a reading of the daily word and discussion, half an hour. It's a great time to connect. Again, we're doing it on Zoom. And at 4 o'clock, we have Saturday Soul Boost. But today, at 6 o'clock, we are going to have our first Psyche and Spirit soiree. And this is going to be at 6 o'clock on Zoom, and we're going to record it, and it'll go on YouTube. And it's Neal and I discussing the theme for the month from both the Psyche side and the Spirit side, and putting that together. And anyone's welcome to join. And that will be fun. And then let's see what else we got going on. We have a new study group. That's I'll say that at the end. We have a new study group starting. It's called Discover Your Divinity. It begins June 26th, which is a Wednesday at 6 p.m. It will be both here and on Zoom, so anyone can join us anywhere in the world, and also we'll be here as well. And that's going to be an exciting group. And then, of course, we have our joint potluck today with the United Methodist Church, and that won't be until 11:30, so you'll have time to work on the labyrinth puzzle and have some fellowship here also. And now we'll have a PS from Neal.
You need a parachute if you fall off?
There's a slide that I'm supposed to look at now and talk about. Sunset on the Rim with Tom Quirk, Friday, June 21st. Meet at 6:30 p.m. Sunset is 7:42 p.m. Bring your drums and rattles and instruments and a folding chair and a windbreaker. Anything else? Something to drink, yes. All right. And now it's time for a PS with Neal.
And if you get your drumming practice on the 21st, on the 22nd, we're going to celebrate the solstice at Shanti Olmsted. We'll do that about 4:30 in the afternoon, so get past the heat of the day. Although there is some air conditioning there, don't worry, we'll give you more details, but put that on your calendar. Saturday, 4:30. We'll figure out what to do with Soul Boost. Maybe we'll make Soul Boost a part of it. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But lots happening here at Unity Payson, and we're excited about new things as well as old things. One more thing. There is a book on the back table in our gift shop area. Kay Butler has written a book called Love Katie Did. It's full of beautiful photography and wonderful poetry. I know one person has bought that book already. She's donated them to us, and the donation that you offer to Unity of Payson is her gift to us. And thank you. You want to get familiar with Kay's writing, because when you get to the Merlin dialogues, which will be out sometime, we're not saying when, you'll want to read that too as well. Wonderful contributions that so many of you make to Unity in so many different ways, and I am grateful. It is a little different that we're ending a little bit different, but I'd like the people that are here to circle up, because we have a birthday song. We're celebrating the birthdays for June. Who has a birthday in June? Anybody in here? Oh, Claudette and Karen. Did I see that hand? Kind of, if you can sort of get over in the middle, and the rest of us will get around you. Oh, come on. Claudette will do it, you'll do it, Karen. So the rest of us, let's circle around. We won't sing the peace song, but we'll do the prayer for protection, and then we'll go out on a high note with One Day. And if you can take a look at the lyrics for Happy Birthday, we'll do this. And we're featuring Karen and Claudette and others of you. Some of you online may be June persons. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. There is no one like you, uniquely created. I love knowing you. I bless you with life and abundance galore. God bless you, Claudette and Karen, and have many more. Yeah. And the prayer for protection. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So I want to just, before we do this, Tom, let's give me a gallery. I want to just greet everyone who's here online. And then we'll have a very upbeat song. You can go about your way and start putting pieces in the puzzle or whatever, but you'll have a good. So we're looking today. Kay, thank you again so much for your many contributions. We've got Frosty there. Frosty, you're back in Arizona. So happy to hear that. Teresa, man, you and I've got to have coffee. I just want to talk to you. I appreciate you so much. Marianne, I love Marianne down there, and Sammy as well, and maybe Terry's on that as well. So let's go with One Day, and thank you all for being here.